Well, everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining us for our November ROSC meeting. It's good to be back. As many of you know, I was out for the last few months on maternity leave. So if my brain is a little crazy, it's because my 3-month-old Arthur is keeping me up at nights during a really fun period of sleep regression. So we were sleeping solidly, 6 and 7 hours, and we are now back to not doing that, which is super. But it's great to see everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We've got some exciting updates and some even more exciting things on the horizon. So we're looking forward to all of your input today. It's a really important meeting this time. And then we'll kind of be having more fun next month for the holidays. So I'm hopeful that everybody had a chance to think about the homework we're going to be breaking into the rooms to talk about all of that. Jeanette, did you want to say anything else before we jump in and get started?
Other than hello, super glad you're here. Look, we know that it's taking time out of your day, that you have so many other things that you can be doing and places you can be going, but thank you for being a part of this. The truth is that, each one here matters in a very significant way. So bear with us, right, as we're trying to build our airplane in the sky. But you guys are major components to that. So thank you for your continued commitment or coming, or when you do have that hour, that you decided to share it with us. So just thank you for that.
I also want to give a really quick shout out to Randy Wilson, who really stepped up the last few months, and we could not have kept everything afloat without you while I was gone. I'm super grateful, and I know everyone else is too. So quick round of applause for Randy.
Thank you. Happy to help out.
All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and share screen so we can get started. Make sure I have it open first. That's the trick, right? Here we go. All right. Today is obviously November the 18th, 2021. Most of us already have been through this so many times that this is unnecessary, but for anyone who is new or hasn't been able to join in or forgets acronyms frequently, as I often do, what is a ROSC and what are our goals? So as we all know, a ROSC is a recovery-oriented system of care. Our goal with this organization is to be moving towards having a recovery community in Logan and Mason County that is self-sustaining. So what we believe is that recovery is possible, and that with the right supports, everyone can improve and can do better. Every community can do better. So I'm always asking this question, and I'm always asking myself this question as we go through, because this really informs everything that we're trying to do, and making sure that we are focused on the path forward. We are focused on people-oriented systems. So, they're not just numbers, they're people, and they have lives that are messy and just like everybody else, right? So what we're looking for is a way to build up the recovery community and to support one another, as many of us work within this industry, and so many of our stakeholders within the community are people who work within the recovery community. So trying to find ways to scaffold supports and, build forward is really what we're all about. I wanted to get started this time with some gratitude. Has everybody seen or know of Patch Adams? Do we know about this? Quick thumbs up if we know about this. Yeah, it's a good one. I made up my mind to never have another bad day. I love that. And it's very much something that I try to live by, start every day with gratitude. And so I want to go around really quickly as a little bit of an icebreaker and have everyone say something that they are grateful for. It doesn't have to be recovery related, but just say your name and something that you're thankful for. Who wants to start? How about Jeanette starts?
Well, get the chatty one out of the way first.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick on you first.
Oh man, I am truly filled again with gratitude for all of the folks that continuously come in. Like Rachel said, you know, I like to say we don't build furniture, right? We deal in lives, and it's messy and it's hard, and it's important. And I am just grateful anytime I can be part of a group of a body of people who are willing to put themselves out there in the way we have to really move forward in this. So I'm just grateful that I get to do this. Like I get to be a part of this, and that's incredible. There was a day where I could never have imagined that. So
Thanks, Jeanette. Who's up next?
pass it to someone.
I will call on
I can
someone
go.
randomly. Okay, go ahead.
I can
Barb.
go. I'll just go. I'm Barb Brumlevy, and I am definitely grateful, thankful for the opportunity to be working where I'm working, here at Chestnut, and working on a, in a field that I'm very passionate about, and just hope I can make a difference, even if it's in one person's lives. I'm very grateful that I somehow had I just had something tell me I had to do it. And I've been telling myself for a long time, and I finally just did it. And I made the best decision ever. Oh, so far, so good. So I'm grateful for that.
Thanks, Barb. Eddie, go ahead.
Okay. I'm grateful thankful for Logan and Mason counties. I'm not from either of those counties. I live in Bloomington, so kind of getting thrown to those counties was a bit of a whirlwind, but I'm thankful everybody took me with a helping hand and showed me the ropes of the different areas, and is willing to talk to me about any questions that I have about recovery or even communities in general.
Awesome. Don, you're up next.
Other non-recovery related, I'm thankful for my family, my friends, my coworkers, everybody in my life.
Classic. Love it. All right, Cindy, you're up.
I'm Cindy Smith. I would say I'm thankful for my job here. I'm really grateful to be part of this organization as well, and I'm really thankful for just my family as well. I know it's cliche, but I am.
That's wonderful. Ethan, thanks for joining us. You're up next.
Well, I'm grateful for coffee. I can tell you that with all certainty. But I'm grateful for the opportunity that I've been given to help in the recovery community in this area.
Awesome. Mel.
Hi everyone, I'm Nell, and I'm grateful for my neighbor who lives directly across the street from me, brings us dinner every Wednesday night because I see clients until 7:30 on Wednesday nights. And so she just offered she said, why don't I take care of dinner for your family on Wednesday nights? So I kind of work through the dinner hour, and it's so nice to not have to just scramble and like order a pizza or something on Wednesday nights. So it's the little things that are big things.
That's awesome. Everybody needs a neighbor like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Angie, you're up.
I have a 9 and 12-year-old, and I am grateful that our whole family will be vaccinated by Saturday. So that's what I'm thankful for.
Yay. That's wonderful. All right. Who's next? Eric.
I'm thankful for our kids. We have at Atlanta Central, we've got anywhere from a first grader to a senior, and all 4 of them have just endured all the changes of education the last 18 months or so, and continue to excel and work hard. And I'm blessed to be able to have kids that are kind of self-starters and work hard to do it.
Oh, that's awesome. Samantha.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I am thankful for recovery and self-worth today. I also have Best Figure with me. What are you thankful for? Grateful for my family. All right.
Wonderful. Who am I missing? Lynn, next stage. And if you're not able to chime in, that's okay. I can just move on. All right. Anybody whose video is not up that would like to chime in? I got Andrew, Jeff, Deva, Kim. Am I missing anyone?
I actually got a message from Deborah Kay. She's grateful to learn technology. She's tech challenge, so she's listening, but not necessarily an ability to chime in. So I'm trying to be her voice. So
Okay, no worries.
Thank you, Deborah Kay.
All right, everyone. Does anyone have anything else they want to add before we move on? Okay. Well, thank you all for sharing. As I said earlier, I'm grateful for everyone who helped out while I was gone and who continues to give grace while I'm adjusting to not sleeping, which is so fun. All right, we're going to do a quick summary. As last time, we were working on focus groups and having some key person interviews out in the field. Mandy and Nadia are going to speak to that because I wasn't a part of it. Go ahead.
So we had focus groups. Yeah, we had 3 virtual focus groups during October, and a couple in person at Caswood, which was really good. Not as much turnout for those as we were hoping, so we might explore doing those in the future. A lot of feedback guys that people would prefer to do in person and not over Zoom, which I get. Everyone's tired of Zoom or might not use Zoom during their everyday life, so it's a little intimidating to use that platform. So maybe in the spring we'll explore doing some more focus groups or incorporating them in with different areas. But a lot of the feedback that we received through the focus groups was pretty much on par with our needs assessment, kind of identifying those different areas that people would like us to pursue. So more sober activities, sober housing options, access to transportation, and then more treatment providers that are accessible within Logan and Mason counties. And then we are also, so yeah, we'll have those in the spring, hopefully, or just moving forward, we might every couple months see if there's interest in doing those. But always we are doing key person interviews. That is for my grant, the Regional Leadership Center, as well as for the ROSC, just to hear from people if people want to share their thoughts about anything. We're always open to that, in person, Zoom, even just over an email. We always like to hear feedback about that. So you can contact any of the Chestnut staff here, and we would be happy to hear directly from you in any format.
Excellent. Does anyone have anything to add to that? Jeanette or Nadia, do you have anything to add before we?
I was just going to chime in about, I definitely would love for us to have another go around to try to do the in-person. It's so powerful when we do get in a room together and, the ideas and experiences bounce off one another, and it triggers something over here that someone hadn't thought about just by having that exchange. So definitely looking forward to finding other ways that we can do that. So just be looking out. And again, if you are interested, we definitely want to hear from you.
Wonderful. Okay, so another big development that some of you know about and others are being told about right now, our Recovery and Action Subcommittee is getting started. I actually found this logo. This is not I want to be very clear, this is not our cool logo, but I like this a lot. And I think it really speaks to what we're doing here. When I is replaced by we, illness becomes wellness. So working together, Jeanette is going to speak a little bit to our goals with the subcommittee, as well as the role that we see it kind of taking on within the ROSC.
So, one of the things that we understand, and I think that we've brought into is the need for people experience at the table. It's a time. We know that. And what we really want to make sure is that it's that we have true leadership opportunities for those who want to be involved. I know for me, being a person with lived experience and not quite knowing where I fit in or how I can fit in and how intimidating it can be to have your probation officer across the table or officer that arrested you, and how do you handle those situations, still have voices at the table. And so this is our effort to really make sure that we're having those getting together, having authentic, like I said, resources and leadership opportunities with this Recovery and Action subgroup. We're looking to get together to begin to plan those ways that we can educate the community, ways that we can bring awareness in a way that we need. Right. And so it's going to be a really important part of coming out of the council. One thing that we talked about is working together to fill in some of those gaps of where there's a lack of recovery meeting opportunities, right? Filling that in, stressing that we have a Lincoln College campus, and how do we bring recovery opportunities to campus? Or, how do we begin to have those conversations, have recovery meetings available there, the jail, to provide, we're talking about, I'm just having bullet points here, community. And I about talking about a movie opportunity for people to come, or a free movie to educate. I know we did that a few years back, and I think it's worth revisiting and seeing how we feel to, again, understand through our needs assessment that our community does show awareness that there's a need, there's a struggle here, there's a gap, how to build bridges together to these events, not just necessarily from a 12-step group, but how can we do a community recovery holiday, event or something where we can continue to chip away at this, the stigma, right? That we're not just talking about these kind of things at a health fair. Do we need them at that? Yes, we need to be talking there too, but that it becomes less taboo, that there is conversations are happening, and so that people can have the courage to ask for that help or to share their story and experience. Thinking about how many people in our community who are living in recovery but have no association or connection with a 12-step group. How do we connect with those folks? How do we access that wealth of experience and commitment to recovery into what we're doing here? So this Recovery and Action subgroup is vital. We have some committed people. I mean, this one is definitely she's telling me what to do. I'm there. And Deborah Kay also was on the line. We have I'm still trying to convince some other folks to come alongside, and we have people who are saying, I want to be involved. So we want to do this in a way, again, that we're no longer in a community that is making decisions for those who struggle with substance use disorder, mental health, making decisions for us, and we're not at the table, right? So this is an opportunity, a true opportunity to impact, in a mighty way. So really forward, please, if you are interested, if you know someone that's interested, send them my way. We want to get folks involved because I have a feeling that once we start rolling, we're hitting it. We're on the move. So it's exciting what's happening.
Thanks, Jeanette. All right. Sorry, I'm
Actually, I'm going to chime in one more thing. I know I just said a whole lot, but I also want to say conversations that we're having too, about the needs, housing needs, and the things that we've identified, NAR, and how to do that well in our community. Those are concerns of conversations I've had with folks already. These are places we're going to have the dialogue. So just I'm going to throw that out there too.
Yeah.
Hi, so Vesta and I here and one other person, we are actually starting, we want to have a speaker jam on January 1st. We are, yeah, like a dance karaoke type thing. We have the speakers already lined up. And we just wanted to come on here and mention it and see if you guys possibly would want to be a part of that as well. It's still in the making. We don't know exactly where we're going to have it, but we are wanting to start out the new year with recovery and showing people in this town that, it doesn't matter what A you belong to, recovery is going to be strong. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yes, that's exciting. And if anyone wonders why they should stick around, it's because we have passion like that in our community. So I love it. And that's exactly what we want you to bring to the Recovery in Action subgroup. So that kind of stuff right there.
However, we support whatever you need as far as any ROSC assistance, we would love to help. And if anyone else has a great idea like that, we want to know, we want to help.
Well, Samantha, this is Angie at the hospital. Reach out when you know what you need to sponsor or water bottles or whatever. Let me know what you guys are going to need for that.
Okay.
Also, Samantha and Vesta,
Yeah.
I just sent you an email, Vesta, with his hands outreach information.
Okay.
And maybe Trinity Church would be an option. So
Okay. Thank you.
We're gonna have our first meeting tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So we'll know more then.
Wonderful. Wonderful. We're excited to help. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Nadia, are we ready for breakout groups?
I think so. I've tried like 4 times and people jump on. Usually you can add
it
a
will be
feature.
okay.
I can launch them, but I don't know if you want to talk about the prompt and then I can.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the prompt and then I'll put the questions up in the chat box so that we can refer back to them. But last time we were talking about what's coming next. So as many of you know, our next step in the ROSC process is our strategic planning. This is probably the most important time. I want to ideas, priorities, all of the things that we have heard within our community. We have data from our needs assessment, but we also need community input. So for the next couple of months, we're really going to be focusing on laying the groundwork and the foundation for everything that we're going to be doing within the community over the next several years. So we want to hear from you. So we are talking about the following questions. What do you think are the top 2 priorities to address in order to aid and grow support in the recovery community of Logan County? This is a big one. So if you can think of in your world, the top 2 things that we could potentially help to address, what do we think those are? The second question is also important because this, I think, is one of our more key roles realistically. Where are there opportunities for overlap between the ROSC and existing organizations and initiatives? So which groups of people need to know each other is basically what that question is. What type of community outreach is most effective in your opinion? And what challenges to improving recovery outcomes do you believe are possible for us to address with the resources and the timeline of our ROSC here? So like I said, I'm going to throw these up in the chat. I'm going to quickly stop sharing so that I can correctly copy paste them. And we're going to take 15 minutes. What time is it now? Yeah, we're going to take 15 minutes and then reconvene really quickly to sort of put them into, hopefully have time to put them into a format that we all can refer back to. So whenever you're ready, Nadia.
I think you've all been invited to join. You just want to hit join on your screen. Kim, are you in a room? Hey, Kim, can you hear me?
Oh,
Hi.
in here.
I joined for a while. I'm gonna like jump rooms because the recording follows me, and I made the mistake the first time that I sat quietly by myself, like looking at the screen. It was boring. Anyways,
Yeah, I don't want to dominate, so you guys chat. Or what are your top type 2 priorities? You had to pick.
I think just the sober activities. I think that's where that would be a good start, I believe, and it's a good way to form unity with individuals in recovery, and also different agencies and stuff that want to get involved with things like that too, to kind of, to get to know one another and just kind of engage in fellowshipping. I think that's important.
Kim, Lynn, what are you guys thinking?
My number one priority would be to have mental health services available locally.
I know.
It's been so long since we had an actual, a physical place that people can go to meet with someone consistently and work on those issues that I feel like people here don't think we have those available to us. So that'd be priority 1 for me.
Well, I have a lot of priorities, but do I think that they will fit with what we're trying to do? I agree about the social activities. That seems like something that might we could actually do.
Right.
But you have to do it.
Right.
Transportation and housing, obviously, but those are gigantic. Maybe transportation not as much as housing, but and we do have some mental health here, Lynn. Sorry. I know it's hard over there when you don't have anything. But we're not going to have the exact same goals anyway.
Right. I think honing in on some priorities that are obtainable or could be first steps to then getting some of the bigger ticket items. My eyes were opened to like the whole housing piece. I'm like, well, yeah, why can't you just have the housing? And I think Andrew, as you and Ethan pointed out to me, it's like, okay, it's not just about having a physical house. You need to have the infrastructure for job placement and the additional supports in place and the accessibility to getting to and from. And it's like, it's building that full community to support that as well. So, I mean, I kind of thought that, but not like, I didn't think of that.
And then also, Nadia, real quick. So Christian County was just granted, they got this grant. So they bought like an apartment, like a house that had like 5 units in it, like separate ones. And it was through the Christian County Coalition, Prevention Coalition over there. And so they got awarded this grant. And so they bought a piece of property and then they're turning into sober living over there in Christian County right now. And so I don't know if that's something that you guys, the ROSC or somebody could look into about possible grants for that, because I know, Nadia, that when we had that last meeting with Ethan, and you don't have to, you know what I mean? Like kind of like how Kalimba House did here in Springfield. So they got a grant, a loan from Super to open up recovery homes, and then they just use the Oxford House model. That's all, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know if that's something that, that they could get involved with or what, I don't know, but.
Good. Something to explore. I mean,
right,
it's not good idea.
But yeah, like I said, I think, and kind of like things that are feasible right now, like in the moment, and just being able to do things. So that's why I said sober activities, because that's something that we can, that's obtainable. You know what I mean? That's kind of an objective that, because I know the mental health and, the housing and transportation, but I think that what might be further down the road, like, and I don't know if you guys are going to do like an RCO, Nadia, or, I mean, I know that's always the end game, you know what I mean? But you guys aren't even there yet. We're talking about RCOs and stuff. Yeah.
But it's how do you set up that sustainability, or is it doing like a recovery cafe, or how can you empower peers to take on more of a role? So there's a peer place at the hospitals, or someone walks in and maybe in absence of having a mental health provider, there is a qualified or certified peer mentor that can assist in the interim until a counselor is found or to help supplement that support. So
yeah. So I think, like I said, at this point now, I think we should just try to gather as many people as we can, you know what I mean, through sober activities and getting people engaged and stuff in the community and stuff like that. And that stuff, it can kind of come down the road. You know, I know it's just horrible, you know, about the services in Mason and Logan County right now. I wish that I could just buy a building and just like set up shop, you know what I mean? And just, cause I would, you know, cause people are suffering out there and it's just horrible, you know, and there's, you know, through Memorial or SIU, man, they have so much money. They could just like, you know what I mean? Like, why won't you do it? Like there's a need for it. Like, you know, it just blows me away how, you know, how they do. They'll spend $4 million on a new logo, you know, Memorial will, but they won't.
Amen to that.
It's just, you know what I mean? Like it just blows me away. Yeah.
So good conversation. Tell me then, I'm going to ask a question, then I'm going to peace out to the next group because I think I'm trying to record everybody's chat, right? Maybe I put it in the chat, but what type of community outreach do you feel is most effective, or what challenges to improving recovery outcomes are possible to address with the resources and timeline of ROSC? And I'm going to leave, but you guys keep talking. Thank you.
Anyway, nice to meet all of you.
Awesome. And I think everyone knows me, but community health specialist with the Regional Leadership Center. I think I've worked closely with a lot of you guys before. So I will share my screen. I finally found it. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So yeah, it just has survey information and our survey results. So 90% of participants do believe substance use and mental health is an issue in Logan and Mason counties. So pretty much everyone knows that is an issue and should be a top priority. Existing services do not meet the needs. Stigma is a large issue. And then down over here are the priorities that we identified through the needs assessment. So the different ones were education, treatment, prevention, housing supports, infrastructure supports, and then economic or job opportunities. So those are all very broad areas. So we can either identify just some of those or kind of narrow it down some more.
That would be a really potentially impactful. So thank you for that.
Because I think too, like, I mean, I'm imagining like you know how you have like teen centers almost, like, you know, where it's open all like later hours, and it's open. You have, if you could even house it like 24 hours or at least into the evening, the hours where you feel like people are going to definitely need that reach out support. And then you don't have those hours, you have a hotline that somebody, like emergency, that somebody can meet them there. And then you can bring in and partner with then the police department at that point if needed, but it's a safer, not as intimidating, you know, and the police can still help with that support, I think. But to not have, it's sad that, you know, that you have to go out of town. It definitely, I think, like you're saying, Samantha, it's definitely needed to have it local, because that's, transportation is another issue too. People don't have, you know, ability to do that, to travel. One of the things actually that we're looking at for here at the hospital, so for the Community Health Collaborative, like one of our focuses for the next 3 years is on substance use, but also obesity. And one of the things we've looked at is like being a bicycle friendly designation for our business. And it would be great if we could increase that within the community to have some sort of, I know the birds have been out, for people to get around, but to have more access to some kind of transportation, even if it is like a bicycle to get them from point A to point B. And if they're in that place where they need help and they can't get there, or I don't know, just thoughts that I've been thinking about.
Oh, there's Nadia. We're all coming back together, I think.
You have like 3 more minutes. I'm sorry to interrupt,
Oh.
but the recording follows me, so I'm jumping into all the groups so I can kind of capture some of this information. So sorry to interrupt.
Well, can you tell us the questions, because they aren't in the chat and we can't see them, and we were doing it from memory.
Did that work?
Yep.
Yeah.
I should have done that. Sorry. So yeah.
And Jeanette and I are the only 2 talking, so I'm going to shut up and try to get Deborah and Don to say something.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Looking at it from a whole point, how do we get people to recovery? I think we're lacking a lot of that in the community as a whole. There's not an interest in recovery. And I think as people involvement, the more we become involved, the more people we can get. But right now it seems like we're really lacking in that area of bringing people in. And a lot of people probably around the tables, I'm going to speak for myself. Another thing is all of us, and I'm one of them, that don't like no promotion. I'm out there just to be helping, and you don't got to give me an attaboy, attagirl, none of that stuff, because that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to have fun, to keep recovery process going for me, and every time I help somebody, that enhances my program of recovery. And that's the selfish part of my program today. And it's about, once a person gets here, how do we retain them and keep them, so then they pass it on to the next person, and that's how we grow. And the simple little things are probably what keeps us from growing so big, is because we're overlooking the real little things in life. It doesn't have to be no major event. It's something like, start with something small, like a walk like you had, but it's something that everybody's interested in. The more people that get interested in it, the more you keep people's attention. And in early recovery, the attention span of a person, and I can only share about mine, was about 2 seconds, and then I was lost after that for about the first year or 2. So it's also catching the attention span of people. And if we don't get their attention within a few seconds, hey, we've lost them. A lot of it goes back to the beginning of recovery. And it's not about all this stuff over here. And then I'm only sharing this from my experience, because I did recover in this community. And it was very hard because the resources were not available. And I'm grateful for that we're starting to work on that today. We're starting to get those resources, and this program's going to help enhance that. And so that's where I'm coming from. I'm hearing all this talk that I don't understand.
You said beautifully. I love what you said. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the clock, so I don't know if we're going to get kicked out. I don't want anyone to, I don't know how that's going. I'm so glad you're here, Deborah Kay.
Definitely adds value when we can get someone's perspective who's actually lived it.
And if you, oh, here we go. Never mind.
No,
yeah, 56 seconds. You can go 56.
Oh no, Deborah, I just want you to think about, you talk about trying to get people's attention when they've got such a short attention span in the beginning. Think about what worked for you and what we can recreate.
Yeah, I can do that.
So glad you're here, lady.
Terrific.
See you on the other side, guys.
Okay.
Sorry, my timer on my breakout rooms, I thought it buzzed at me, but then I thought if I closed them, they'd automatically close, but then it gave me
That's okay.
window. So folks have like 30 more seconds, I guess.
Okay, everybody. Welcome back. How were all of your discussions in the breakout rooms? Just one person, which is very quickly. We've only got about 15 more minutes. I want to be mindful of time. What do we think was the standout part of looking through these questions for each of your groups? Somebody from each group speak up.
Here, I'm Andrew. It was me and Lynn and Kim in our breakout group. So I think we came to the conclusion it's about engagement, about getting people involved and keeping people engaged. You know, we thought one of the priorities and something that's feasible, because we had to really think about that too. Like, okay, what can we actually do, or what can be done within, you know, a short amount of time. Is not something that's going to take us, you know, 2 years to accomplish. So sober activities, I think we came up with that. I think that would bring a lot of unity to the community, as well as individuals in recovery and individuals that are not, that are just interested in recovery as well. And that's something I feel that the Logan Mason ROSC can do, is provide events where you can work on fellowshipping and unity, and just, you know, and even kind of breaking down that stigma like Jeanette was talking about earlier, and just kind of getting to know people, getting to know people's story, you know. And that's what we thought, that's where we started at.
Awesome. Thank you. Next group.
I can share for our group. It was myself, Angie, Dawn, and Deborah Kay. And I just want to kind of say, to piggyback off of that, I would definitely think we were looking at what we can do now and be impactful, and having events, and really emphasizing on having the leadership opportunities, real leadership opportunities for folks to be involved and be part of that planning process. So excited to hear kind of, there was some great conversation and that came out, just that reminds me again why it's so important to have folks at the table that have that lived experience. So I just want to thank Deborah Kay for sharing in our meeting as well. Guys, Angie or Don, do you have anything to add as far as something I may be missing?
Well, we just talked about one of the questions was about who also do we need to bring in and make sure we're not duplicating services and all that jazz, or that we could also add to the work. And Faces and Voices of Recovery could be here and influence the work a little bit. And then, of course, I talked about the Collaborative Substance Use Prevention Coalition, because we need to kind of firm up what does ROSC do versus what does the SUP Coalition do? Because I think they are different, but it's time to like pick a lane so that we can leverage our resources as much as possible.
Exactly. Next group. Is it just us left? So within our group, I'll speak to our group. We sort of were going around and saying a lot of the same things. So we're activities, in addition to potentially having some kind of a home base that would act as something aftercare oriented, where people could go that were, you know, looking for somewhere to be that was a safe place. And some really good ideas. Cindy actually brought up potentially LCU has a vacant dorm, and, you know, maybe getting in touch with them about kind of repurposing if that's something they would be interested in. And again, just sort of thinking outside the box here, because we are all aware that resources are so limited and services are so limited that taking a lane becomes really important, and choosing where we can have impact becomes really important. So that's really the purpose of this conversation, and is really the purpose of the next couple of months as we are gearing into our strategic planning. So thank you everyone for sharing. Please message us if you think of anything else, or if something got missed, or you didn't have a chance to speak up, or an idea comes to you later. Okay, we're gonna go back to
Rachel, our group didn't report out. Oops.
Oh, please.
I don't, somebody from our group want to pipe in, or should I?
I can do it. Yeah, so we kind of focus on Mason County. So it's like a lofty goal of getting some more services in Mason County, identifying that Logan County does have Tazwood, which does provide a lot of services for residents, while Mason County has lower access to just some of those basic services, as well as education kind of across the continuum. So education for 6th and 8th grade, but like river meet activities, elementary all the way to high school, as well as for parents. Sometimes parents kind of, will give children alcohol or drugs or whatever. That's just kind of in their way of life. They might not know, but that's not the best fit. Kind of increase education for everybody. That can be beneficial.
Awesome. All right. So again, I'm 10 minutes. We are going into strategic planning with this in mind. So has anyone ever done a SWOT analysis before besides now? Yeah, I'm seeing some people in their heads. So we are looking at internal external components basically. We want us to see the challenges and use research to the greatest advantage, be proactive. So we have a couple of minutes. I don't have quite as much time as I would like, so we might come back to this another time. But basically, what we are going to be doing is this, going through and listing all of our strengths as a community. And this is together, Logan and Mason. We could split it if anyone has a strong opinion about that. My feeling was we were going to do them together, but I'm open to feedback on that. I don't have any. Yeah, I figured if there was something that applied to one area and not the other, we could just kind of mark that in parentheses or something like that. So for example, we know that there's a problem. We have an awareness of the need for expanded recovery services. Does anyone have, again, the top of the line, does anything stand out? The things along the top are internal. So things that basically we have within ourselves, within the ROSC, and then opportunities that are the external ones. So those are things within the community, but not necessarily things that we have full control over. And so correct me if I'm mistaken, but I think that's kind of what their goal here is. I think we don't have time for that now. I would love to do that, but I think that would be like another 20 minutes, and I hate to keep people late right before Thanksgiving. So what I think we're going to do is be aware of this, and we might come back to it next month if that is okay with everyone. Because we had a really good discussion today, and that didn't leave time for us because we were doing so well.
If I could just add, I think this is a great exercise, and I get really excited about the strengths quadrant there because I just love going through this exercise with communities around recovery because there's so much more in the strengths column than you might think at on a surface level. Just the richness of people in recovery and all that, all the possibility that comes from that. So yeah, let's table this and give it the time that it deserves. And
yeah, I think it'll be really lovely. We'll sort of recalibrate, and we'll do this as a fun exercise for next time. So I will send this out in the summary email, and we can all be thinking and maybe come prepared. That can be your homework in addition to the fun homework that we've slated for next time. We can come back to this and really give it attention over there. Ensure that we aren't dictating everything. We don't want to do that. We want to ensure that we have everyone at the table that needs to be here. Yeah. So think about this. Next meeting is the 16th of December, also on Zoom at 2. Next year, we are going to be re-looking at this time window. Can everyone give a quick thumbs up or down? Does this time, the Thursday at 2, tend to work out okay? Or is there a time that might be better? Let me scroll so I can see outcomes. I can't see if people are here. We're happy, right? So we'll be looking at that, and if we are going to make any changes, we've had some people say, well, this time is during the workday and they can't make it. So we're just kind of trying to make sure we give everyone a chance to be here. The holidays are coming. I hope you're all gearing up to have way too much food next week for Thanksgiving. It's the best. But it can be a stressful and trying time for those in recovery. Next time, come ready to share something that helps you to stay grounded and relax during the But also think about what's important and what helps us to stay grounded. Before we finish up, does anyone have anything to add or any questions for us? We're kind of just getting back up and running. So I'm probably going to have a lot more little things that are catching up with all of you. But as we go forward, we're looking for opportunities to assist in the community. We're looking for, as we've talked about, some of those event options that the ROSC can help with. So look forward to hearing Sam about those. Yeah, Eric.
Yeah, I just want to say, the participant said something about the story, and people's story is so important. I got involved with the group we were in and volunteered to lead Achievers League because of a story of a youth we lost because of drug and alcohol accident. And I remember the why and remember the importance of individual stories. That's all. Like that.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And this time of year, especially, I think everybody has a lot going on, and we don't leave people behind. We're exclusionary anyway, so we want to make sure that we're reaching out to those within the recovery community who need us the most this time of year, and the way that we can have some impact in the short term is those opportunities are things we're looking for. So keep us in the loop. You know how to reach us. And Jeanette, Nadia, Randy, do you want to say anything before we finish up?
Just another big thank you. Thank you. Remember that what you do here makes a difference in the lives of so many. We can forget that in our day-to-day tasks. So I just want to read again. That's fun. My own to my life, and that's how this thing works. So thank you for your commitment. Thank you for continuously coming back. We need you. The flat out truth is that we need one another to make this thing happen. So thank you for being here. Call on us and how we can serve you as well. I just want to reiterate that this is a reciprocal thing, and we want to help you in your initiative as well. So please call on us also. Thank you. I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next month.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.